up, YouTube? It's an Archive Flow, and today we're back. We're talking about the NBA, but specifically we're talking about the 2026 NBA draft class, and we are talking about Caleb Wilson and his crazy performance in his first Summer League game. He broke the Summer League record with 35 points, but more impressive than that is his three-point volume. The guy shot 11 three-point attempts in one game. Mind you, we'll get into all that, but you know what I'm saying? Please leave a like, subscribe, comment. Definitely comment. This isn't an echo chamber. Say your thoughts. If you don't agree with what I'm saying, let me know. If you feel like some of the takes I'm going to say are crazy, like me not having Darren Peterson top 3 on my big board, I'm going to get into that rationale. Let's get into it. Alright, so yeah, I'm just scrolling through Twitter. It's a regular day, whatever. Summer League is happening. You know, couldn't get to catch the games, and I see a lot of different views on Summer League throughout the whole week. Obviously Darren Peterson, there's Darren Peterson FC, there's AJ DeBance the FC. There's some people saying oh, Darren Peterson was strategically placed to play 2 games before AJ, and then they played each other. There was a lot of stuff. Obviously Darren Peterson had a pretty solid go at it for his first 2 Summer League games. Honestly, how I kind of rank the 2026 draft class is this is one of the best classes I've ever seen or I've ever evaluated. I haven't spent a lot of time in scouting, but I'd say I probably really made big boards for probably the last 3 or 4 classes. And but I've been watching hoops in general and just looking at players and prospects probably really deeply since I think Luka's class. And obviously just knowing the landscape of basketball and a lot of the prospects that have come before. There's not many classes where somebody like Darius Acuff, a 20-point per game scorer in the SEC, a John Calipari point guard, a point guard that leads his team in majority of uses, points, assists, very low turnover guard. That's something I feel like a lot of people didn't talk about during the process. There's a lot of stuff about his defense, but this is a guard that throughout his career, he's going to have a crazy floor offensively because he does not turn the ball over. The guy went 7th overall. That's unheard of, and that just speaks to the talent of this class. But yeah, specifically with this top 3, top 4, it was kind of set in stone for a lot of people. The chalk was kind of at the one spot. Some people had Darren Peterson, some people had AJ DeBance. But AJ DeBance went 1, Darren Peterson went 2, Cam Boozer went 3, and Caleb was went 4. My personal big board when it came to the top 4, or it's kind of wonky, I guess. I probably would get maybe fired for my personal top 10, but that's because I have a kind of interesting criteria when it comes to feel, drawing free throws at the next level, your portability in the offense, in terms of your creation ability, how you turn over the ball, the weight that I have on FIBA games and U19. Have you been dominating competition? Are you a late bloomer? How are you when you increase usage? Is the style of basketball going to contribute to winning basketball, but also what is your general floor as a player? In general, when it came to my big board and stuff like that, some players I was kind of higher on and lower on. For example, consensus. I'll just rattle off some names. For example, I have Michael Brown Jr. number 4. That's because of his skill in terms of just shooting the ball at a high rate. In terms of 3-point attempts, the range of difficulty, the fact that he's still growing into his body, and the ability to just be a facilitator and a true point guard. I think he's going to be a superstar in the league. Somebody that also may not be consensus, I have Cam Boozer too. I just think he's a chalk 2019 type of point per game scorer in this league. Definitely 8 rebound and maybe even 7 assists per game type of player throughout his career. This is a player that just contributes to winning basketball. His shooting stroke is way better than a lot of people he was comped to. I ended up having AJ DeBance the 1 because of his ability to draw free throws, and I think he's one of the best in the paint, in the arc scorers we've ever seen from the wing position. He's way more advanced as a scorer than a guy like Tatum. And although I had the reservations about his 3-point attempts and volume, I think it will come because I think Tatum was around the same amount of 3-point attempts when he was younger. And also when you looked at the Florian spacing, Richie Saunders, when he was out, he really had nothing to work with in terms of that BYU team. I know a lot of people saw Rob Wright at Baylor, and he's a good point guard, but for what AJ would need in a college system, he really wasn't getting a lot of that at BYU. But yeah, that's why I kind of came around. At first I was a Darren Peterson 1 guy because I'm still very high on Darren Peterson. When you hear where I have him at, I have him number 7 on my report. You'd be like, whoa. But that's because I think Darren Peterson is the pure scorer at the guard position we've seen since Luka Doncic. Offensively, he's a little bit different from Luka Doncic. I don't think he's any type of like primary initiator or primary point guard. I think that's kind of dead. He can show that he can pass the ball. Like, he's also a very low turnover guy, but he's just not going to be the guy consistently initiating your offense. I think he's you can lock him in for a 25-point per game scorer for the rest of his career at least 3 times. That's just how good a player he is. The guys I have above him, I have Yaxel above him. Just kind of like the Swiss Army knife that Yaxel is in terms of being a scorer, NBA rated body, defender. I think even his shot is real. Like, it's truly real. His feel is real. His switchability. So I have him above him because I think he's genuinely going to be one of those weapons, like bigger than even like a Jaden McDaniels. So yeah, I also have Keelan Wagler 5. A lot of it has been made about Keelan Wagler and his summer league performances, and me, quite frankly, I don't really care. Like, if you actually watch it, I think he's arguably a top 3 or top 2 most high field player in the draft. This is a guy who wasn't like on the radar for Big Ten basketball like that when he came into Illinois. This is a guy who, as his usage went up, he became an even better player. A lot of people talk about how many points he dropped on Purdue, but even the ability to play off, to play on, to draw free throws. I mean, this guy draws free throws like the best of them, like better than any guard in this class, honestly and truly. And the shooting stroke is real. This guy shoots volume. I think he's also 6'5", 6'6"-ish. As he continues to grow in his body, like I said a little bit with the Michael Brown Jr., I think the sky's the limit. I think that's a great pick by the Clippers, and he's just not a player that's going to make a lot of mistakes. He's going to be able to be down the road 3 or 4 years. Like, it's going to be apparent why they made the right pick. Now, some other players that I'm high on, I had LeBaron 5 on 10. And a lot of people are seeing what he's doing in the summer league. I think one thing that's very interesting in general about basketball is how I kind of rate a scorer or a shooter is like efficiency, but also volume. And Violon's volume from his freshman year into his sophomore year was just absolutely ridiculous. I'll get into that in a lot more videos and probably do one on just my big board in general. But let's get back to Caleb Wilson. Man, this is somebody I definitely I struggle with where his floor and his ceiling was going to be in terms of the process, because there were days I had Caleb Wilson number 1. There was days I had him 4. But I ended up putting him 3 behind Caleb Boozer and behind Cameron Boozer and behind AJ DeBesta, because I didn't know if the shot was real. Quite frankly, if I knew this guy would be shooting, if I knew he'd be shooting 11 threes in a game, yeah, I think he'd be my number 1 pick. None of these guys shot volume like that. Caleb Wilson draws free throws. He gets to the line. He's a switchable defender. He's super athletic. He's super high field for his height. And I think it's just a Swiss Army knife that the Bulls went and got. The performance was really crazy in terms of like the different types of shot variation that he had. I was watching a lot of like U18 tape with AAU tape with him and Cam Boozer, and he showed the ability to just have a lot of great movement skills and kind of do the little stuff. I know people were giving him like Giannis comparisons. A lot of people like calm down, but generally the way he moves at his height, in and around the basket, bringing the ball up, his handle, like he is going to be 100% a problem. And I don't think people are understanding how great this summer league game is, because again, one of the biggest indicators of a shooter is volume, and the fact that he really came out and shot the ball as confidently as he did. I was even looking at some stats, like he shot the ball more than Michael Brown did in 2 games. The Bansta had like about 5 attempts in his first game. I think Boozer maybe had like 3 or 4, don't quote me, but like he's coming out firing, and that's the mentality of a future NBA superstar. I think we can all see it. His ability to finish around the rim with athleticism, with finesse. He has a face-up game too. But again, that drawing foul factor. This could be a guy that can average 24 plus points per game, a high rebound guy, a high block guy, high steal guy. And if this shot is real, I really don't know how this guy doesn't end up a top 8 player in this league, like one of the most coveted archetypes of player in this league. Guys like LeBron weren't shooting 11 three-point attempts in summer league or in any game, quite frankly. Zion Williamson wasn't like these kind of like uber athletic four guys. So we'll see how it goes, and definitely he set the bar super high. Maybe Chicago did something where they shut him down after summer league. They say like, you're too good. I'd probably do that after you get to 2 or 3 games. Probably put him on a minutes restriction. But yeah, that's basically all I have. If you have any dissenting comments, drop it down. This is an echo chamber. Feel free to disagree with me. I love to chop it up. Whether it's Darren Peterson being 7 on my big board, or Kean Wagler being 5, or Yaxel being 6, or anything like that. Cam Boozer being 2. How you feel? Maybe this is an overreaction you feel about Caleb Wilson. Let me know. Also, follow the Twitter, Archive Flow. I'll follow you back. You throw me a follow back. Quick B-sides to the video. I appreciate everybody who's still watching. I plan to get this video out a little bit earlier. Caleb Wilson, as I'm speaking right now, is playing his second summer league game. He has about like 4 3-point attempts in like 2 quarters, which is, still solid volume. Again, regardless of how many points he puts up, I feel like he still flashed the potential of, a great piece that the Chicago Bulls could use. In terms of this channel and the content, if you're into music and stuff like that, I definitely might drop some stuff on like the underground when it comes to sports, like boxing content. The NFL season is coming up, so definitely stuff like that week to week maybe. And yeah, just a lot of more content is definitely gonna come in terms of like video essays and just like quick reactions. But I just definitely had to get this video out because that nigga's cold. I can't lie. I appreciate y'all sticking with me, and until next time, peace.
People telling me I'm not a top 3 freshman in the ACC, so I'm just gonna keep going out here and killing people. Cause I got a list on my phone, and it's nowhere near done. So just gonna keep happening.
How many people on the list or things on the list?
It's a list every game. People think I joke when I say I put stuff in my wallpaper for my phone, but I put stuff on my wallpaper before I play to make sure I'm pissed.
What was on your wallpaper today?
My wallpaper today was my feeling after the McDonald's All-American game when I didn't touch the ball. So, and Darren Peterson was on my team.